to the extent that you've had mass layoffs, it's been in tech. And to the extent that you have huge unemployment, it's for recent college grads, particularly computer science. I mean, that's where you have this slowdown. And think about, for the first time, this is one of the stats that Comrades were discussing this week, recent college graduates now have a higher unemployment rate than the general population. Recent college grads, those that spent years and tens of thousands of dollars to educate themselves and follow the rules with the hopes of doing something productive, society has no need for them and can't find a place for them. And they have they're the most desperate layer of society now. They're the ones that can't find a place to get plugged in with the market. What does that tell you about American capitalism? Can't find a role for them. I mean, large numbers of young, educated workers with no future and no prospects is an explosive ingredient. Wall Street Journal, 25% of people say they think they have a good chance of improving their standard of living. That's a record low since surveys started in 1987. More than 3/4 say they lack confidence that the next generation is going to live better. 70% of people say they believe the American dream, that if you work hard, you'll get ahead, no longer holds true or never did. That's the highest level in nearly 50 years of surveys. I think that's probably unprecedented. I mean, this is the result of all of these processes that we're talking about. I think one of the flammable ingredients in Indonesia was precisely having a large number of young, educated youth workers with no prospects and nothing to do. The comrades on the ground could see this coming. They were describing this at the World Congress, that you could see various symptoms, like job openings would attract thousands of people who would line up around the blocks. And they would have some of these jobs that would attract huge numbers were like street sweeper. And people were quoted in the line saying, well, yeah, I'd rather be a street sweeper than to live on the street. This is the level of desperation that young people, they were saying that the most popular book right now, the bestseller among young people, is a fiction book inspired by the 1998 revolution. This was all in, early August when we were in Italy. I mean, they could see very clearly what was about to happen. In February, you had Dark Indonesia. This was a short-lived movement, mostly of young people also. It wasn't quite on the scale that we're seeing now, but the new president, Prabowo, was elected in November last year with a landslide victory and a supermajority in the parliament. He was talking about gold in Indonesia. We're going to develop Indonesia and we're going to become one of the strong powers in the world. And then he starts in with harsh austerity. I mean, cuts to every single ministry. Meanwhile, what really kicked it off a few weeks ago, in the middle of last month, was when ministers gave themselves a $3,000 raise at a time when most workers are earning less than $300 a month. And that's what set off the social explosion. And then when you had this 21-year-old delivery driver, Afan Kurniawan, killed, being rammed by a tactical vehicle of the police, that's what really transformed the protest into a nationwide insurrection. I mean, there's no other word for what's happening right now. They're calling for the dissolution of parliament. Members of parliament are having their mansions raided and looted, stormed by protesters. One of these members of parliament, they put do you have anything to say about the protesters that are calling for the dissolution of parliament? And he says, yeah, I would say that they are the stupidest people on earth. And then he finds that his home is stormed by thousands of people who are live streaming themselves, taking a $600,000 watch out of his bedroom. I mean, this has happened to the finance minister of the country and to various other members of the state. Not only that, their prime target, they've burnt down the parliamentary buildings throughout the region. Indonesia is actually it's a pretty huge spread out country. It's got a massive population, 284 million. It's the fourth largest country in the world by population, right after the United States. There's regional parliamentary buildings. 37 of them have been stormed, have been burnt or damaged to some extent. That's as of a week ago. By now, maybe they've hit the 40. The protesters have burnt down not one police station, not 50, but hundreds of police stations. They've burnt them down across the country. I mean, what this shows you is that a revolution is unfolding. It doesn't have a leadership, but their slogan is dissolve parliament. Our small forces are putting forward a program calling for a general strike, bring the revolution into the factories, organize this as a force that has self-organization of the working class independent organization, workers' defense guards. And basically the comrades, what they're putting forward is the only way forward. The only way that this revolution could succeed is being communicated by our very limited forces. But of course, we don't have the comrades we don't have the numbers required to reach the masses with that message. I think the same thing, what's around the corner for France, these massive social explosions. What's needed, you could see that we're moving into a situation where people would be completely open to a revolutionary program. Every move that they're making is showing they want a class war, and they want that class war to escalate. The anger isn't finding a channel, it's not finding a leadership that can show where it would move forward. But I think in the long run, The point of all of these perspectives is that these scenes are the logical outcome of the entire situation. The ruling class has no way to avoid this same fate. They can't avoid what's happening in Indonesia, happening at a certain point in the OECD countries, happening at a certain point in every country on earth, because their system, the exhaustion of its system, that's something that they have no control over. They cannot reverse that. And that's the meaning of the crisis of capitalism. I think if we can help the comrades understand, history is locked into this trajectory. It's a matter of time before we're faced with a revolutionary explosion on the order of Indonesia today. And it's all a question of having our forces prepared to be able to intervene in it, to play our role in history.